All right, so I'm here with my boy, Jacob Levinrad.
Man.
All right, so getting straight into it, if people are on social media, obviously they've probably seen you somewhere, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Your name's pretty relevant as you're like one of the bigger names in the e-commerce space. So just for the new viewers here, if you want to give a quick breakdown of who you are, what you do, the life of Jacob Levinrad.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, first off, thanks for having me, bro. It's cool meeting you. I don't think I'm crazy, like big in ecom. Like I haven't done insane things. I did a few million as a teen selling like quick pump and dump stores. Then I started some real brands in my early 20s. Nothing crazy, but I've probably done like 6-7 million total top line.
Yeah.
A lot of that with Zendrop, which was cool. And moving into like when I was 21, around a year and a half ago, I really got like heavy into social media and coaching.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people like knew me as just this like ecom guy. Although there's guys who've lapped me in ecom.
Yeah.
But my thing now is I really started fading into more of like trying to own and operate a few businesses rather than just focusing on like, in my eyes, smaller vision like ecom brands.
Yeah.
I just didn't see the big picture with it. I didn't enjoy it too much. So I pivoted way more into like owning and operating a few different businesses. Right now, mainly in like the digital marketing world between like agencies. I still have one ecom brand. Big on coaching now. I'm trying to get really into that. Helping beginners start and then businesses scale. But a lot of views have come with that.
That's
And
sick, bro. So like, what got you into business? So obviously you've dabbled into pretty much everything within the social media space. Like what was the first venture that kind of like pulled you into
Got
that
it started?
space? Yeah.
I think what really got me into business was I needed to have money. I got kicked out of school at 16, which we can go into if you want.
Yeah.
And then like that's 16 to 18. I'm this like broke-ish teen, like trying to figure out life. All I knew is that I needed money to live and to be free and have fun. So I really just said like, fuck it. I had like kind of my back against the wall and was just trying and figuring out different stuff. And you know, if you throw enough shit at the wall, something's got to stick.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my flow and it worked out pretty well.
That's sick, dude. Yeah. What happened with school?
With school, dude, I think they just didn't fuck with me. I've always been like, I always say when you're happy, I'm a very optimistic and happy person.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a really happy person, people will either like hate you or love you. There really isn't an in between. I normally get along with people really well, or like they like really hate me. I think with my school, specifically my one, she was a female principal. Like she just really did not fuck with me.
Yeah.
They made me sign a contract in 9th grade stating I'd get like good grades, X, Y, and Z. And then middle of 10th grade, I pretty much knew I'd get expelled.
Yeah.
So I remember I threw a huge party, like they hated that. And I was already like flipping Supreme and reselling a lot back then. So it just made sense. I wasn't too worried about like my future. Most people are in school because they want a future path. I knew my future path would likely be business.
Yeah.
So I kind of just said, fuck it. And I did.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Do you still are you still in the ecom space? Do you still dropship or do anything related with that?
So I have an ecom brand right now. It's not doing anything crazy, like 20, 30K a month top line. I really only still have it operational. I'm trying to find someone to buy a good portion of it.
Yeah.
My whole thing is I want to have a small portion of a lot of businesses and have my main like mother egg be my social media. I love the model Alex Hormozi's doing. I'm really inspired by Tony Robbins. So I'm trying to do like kind of a happy medium of what both of them did. We'll see if it works.
Bro, that's awesome. So like for the viewers out here, if they're curious, bro, I see the AP. That's got to cost 6 figures probably.
Yeah, I just got this, dude. This 122, 123.
Yeah. So if you don't mind dropping, like how much can you drop? How much money does Jacob Levinrad make?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's variated a lot through my life.
Yeah.
Bro. I got a huge check when I got out of my agency. That was huge. My agency, we were doing $2 million a year.
Yeah.
So getting out of that made me a good amount of money. And a year average, like this year, I'll probably average like net profit. There won't be a month that drops below 100 grand.
Yeah.
It fluctuates a lot, dude, to be frank. But a few hundred K a month net profit shouldn't be a problem. Especially right now, I'm trying to get out of, as I said, my main ecom brand. We've done 2 million there. That'll be a good month.
That'll be big too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find someone to get a portion of that. Yeah, few hundred K a month profit, but it really does fluctuate a lot.
Yeah, but that's sick though. Do you like, how many businesses are you running like at the moment?
So in terms of like my big take home, right now I have 2 businesses that I'm like a minority investor on that pay me pretty well. One of them's in like the hard SaaS space, and then one of them's in more of like the agency space with my ex-agency.
Yeah.
And then I have my ecom brand and then social media and coaching.
Okay.
All those combined. Shopify affiliate alone right now probably pays me like 50, 100 a month. So I mean, that's one of my bigger things. I always tell people, and people think it comes off as douchey, but I really do believe in it. It's really not hard to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
The issue is people's level of hard is really low, and they just expect like money to come so easily. Yeah, I mean, if you work 10 hours a day, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and that's like a lot of thing that I hear people say is like, it's hard to like balance multiple businesses at once, and a lot of people are lazy, so they don't able to complete all those things. So
people
like,
are lazy as fuck.
I agree. Do you have like a dedicated routine, or like
how I work?
Yeah, how do you work?
I mean, I'm a big believer in inputs. Like when shit goes bad for me, I know it's because my inputs were improper somewhere. For instance, if I'm fucking waking up super tired, it's like, okay, I didn't sleep enough. Or you're just talking about this. I've been way too OD on caffeine. So it's been butchering my sleep. And like, I think the whole premise of life is if you want to do great things, you have to do great inputs, and then you'll get the output of great things. So for me, I just look at my life as inputs. I have a very simple workflow every day. I'm at my desk usually between like 7 to 12 hours on average a day. I eat and work out most days, pretty like structured, in just the sense of I have food made for me and brought to my desk. I'll work out a few times a week. I live a simple life. I think I was talking about this on a podcast or an interview. A guy came to my crib and like was doing a house tour, and I said like people overcomplicate. I think this whole like making a lot of money life a lot. You see the guys like in their fucking crazy cars at dinner all the time, partying Europe, but like that's not what did it. What did it is they sat at their desk wherever they work, had a plan, did the plan was good, and made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm a big believer in like simplifying your life and keeping it simple.
Because that's like the biggest thing for me is like, I've noticed, especially like when I start going to sleep later and I wake up later at like 9, 10, 11, I can't do anything with that. I work like 3 hours and then I'm out.
Bro, I feel you.
I know.
And like I think people think too like, oh, like the rich fucking like course guy, he has to be like a demonic life. And I tell people all the time, like I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not every day. Like literally today I was just talking to him. I woke up at 9:30, which sucked. Like especially on a Saturday. Saturday's normally my day I really like to crush because I feel like people chill. But bro, I get fucked up here and there. Like I have those hungover days. It's just about way more good days than bad days.
Yeah, definitely. You said a second ago that you've been like way too high on caffeine intake. Do you take like any other supplements or anything that help you out with your daily life?
Rarely, like fish oil, because I don't eat a lot of fish. I'll take vitamin D, especially when I'm not in the sun. A day I know I'm not going to be in the sun, or if the day before I wasn't, I'll supplement vitamin D in the morning. I've got blood panels a few times in my life, so I know I'm not deficient too much of anything. And then I'll take if I'm ever sick or like stuff like that, I'll take like vitamin C and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm pretty simple. I think that you should only really take supplements if you're deficient. But dude, every morning, last like month, I'm really big now on black coffee, just straight up black coffee, nothing in it, and salt packets. So you can have like electrolyte based salt packets, ideally no sugar, in your water. Yeah. Bro, like I'll pop in one of these. It's just like really hydrates you a lot. You get really dehydrated through your sleep. So I've been doing that every morning. It's been good.
Dude, I'm on the same thing. I'm heavy on vitamin D, magnesium, and then it's called Relight, but it's like the salt hydration.
Yes, dude.
And you pour it into the water.
Dude.
Bro, it's fire.
It's sick.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like drinking 2 bottles of water in one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. But back to like the education and courses, how you're going in heavy education this year. There's also a lot of people who do education, but they do it the wrong way. And then it's either like black hat and sketchy, or they're not. Just money grabs.
You know. So I haven't been on too many like ecom podcasts too. So like you really do know how like intense it gets.
Yeah, it's awful. And there's like a lot of people who get like grifted or screwed over in different courses and stuff. So like how can you assure your customers it's like what separates you? And like how do you make sure your customers are getting benefited?
It's a great question. I think for me, when I got into courses and coaching like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Initially, I was getting so many views on TikTok, and I wasn't even trying to sell a course at the time. But it was like I couldn't not. I had people literally saying, "I want to buy your course. Like I have $1,000 to pay you." So I released my first like 1.0 ever of now my mentorship, where I just told people, "Hey, you could pay me X for a call with me." It was $500 an hour. And over time, I realized that the only way it would work is if I knew 100% pretty much they could do well. And the only way I knew I could do that, because if you just give someone a course or a pre-built store, like it's just so hard to guarantee their success. Yeah. So what we do now, what I've been doing pretty much the last like 2.5 years, is I just only take on people into like my mentorship. It really is just a one-on-one coaching. Yeah. And they're getting direct access to me, calls with me. At this point now, with structure in the back end, we have like 25 different calls a week. So it's very hard for someone to come in and fail unless it's their fault. So I always tell people they either come in and do well, or if they don't do well, they know they could have, but they gave up. Yeah. And it's just a really good pulse check with your customers, I think. Some people, they do these courses like $200, or even like one of the things I hate about some of these platforms like WAP and these like come join our community is like, it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
You're joining into some like shitty ass product that you're going to go into and you don't have real help. So my thing is I help not that many people really well, and I just speak to all of them. So any issue that they have, any issue with the product they don't like, when someone's like, yo, I don't like it, I want my money back, I'm so in tune with them that I just understand what went wrong and I just am fixing it. And just, I think my biggest rule with coaching I've learned is what someone pays you, they need to be able to feel they have a 2 to 4x ROI within like the first 3 to 12 months.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And like, if you are doing coaching and you're watching this, I'm telling you, fix that, because it'll make your life so much fucking easier. I wish I did that like 2 years ago. I only really got into, I think it was when I realized I need the product to be amazing. I only really started having that thought process around a year and a half ago. And that made my life way easier.
Yeah, see, that's like the most common thing I hear everybody who I talk to say, whether that's with like coaching, with education, or with like their actual business, is the most important thing is your product and the offer. And that's what's going to sell.
This kid, bro, this young guy, 16, he asked me, how do I crush marketing, bro? Because I told him I've probably spent like 5-6 million in ads between everything in my life. And I said that marketing a shitty product is really fucking hard. So you can make your marketing crazy, but marketing a bad product will always be difficult.
Yeah.
But if you just make your product so good to where like borderline your marketing can suck so much, but it still sells well, that's like the home run.
Yeah.
And that's why even Hormozy says a lot, and it's true. I've seen it. Different stuff I've pursued in my life, even now, like investing into companies, like when you see a SaaS company that has like a friggin' monthly, that's like a 15-month average lifespan, it's like, it's so hard to lose money because you can acquire a customer for friggin' $1,000.
Yeah.
So the long story short is when you have that product that just sells so well, marketing it, like probably get a 10, 20, 30x return on ad spend. It's just like your problem won't even be making enough money. Your problem will be handling the customers and scaling, which is it's a sick problem.
See, that's the best problem to have. So like the new customers and people who are new to this and want to start dropshipping, want to start a business, from someone who does coaching like full time, do you think like dedicated education for a business is something that people should invest in or should get through, or should they try to learn for free?
On their own?
Yeah.
It's the same outcome in my eyes. I always tell people, like, when I'm training, even internally to students, but more often on social media, I'll tell people, like, I don't give a fuck if you join my trainings.
Yeah.
Because ideally you're going to get to the same outcome of success. Success to the average beginner, like we're talking about, is maybe 10K profit a month as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I don't care how you get there, right? Obviously, I'd rather you do it with me because then it's mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is like, if you find a coach who has a good offer that will transactionally be beneficial, like you pay $1,000 knowing you're getting X, Y, or Z, like it's worth it. You buy it as long as he fulfills it great, which God willing he does. At that point, it's super beneficial because you got to your goal quicker because you paid that upfront price. So I think it's ultimately like what you feel is right as a person. Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
I paid $40,000 for a day with Cardone's team and Cardone. Like I wanted that.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see $40,000 come back into my bank account the next day. I knew learning from those guys was great because they're doing $1 billion a year. And I think ultimately it should feel right. You got to really trust the person you're learning from. And that's at least the relationship I have with my guys.
Yeah, because see, that's something I did. I just learned by trial and error. I just kept going, trying new products,
Which works
trying new
too.
businesses. Yeah, except I lost a lot of money in the process, which it would have probably ended up being cheaper if I bought like a mentorship. But like, I guess it depends on like whatever you're trying to do.
And it's like what you said. There are guys like fucking around in it.
Yeah,
it's true.
I know.
The issue is it's so easy to get into the like helping people world and making a quick like 10 to 200K.
Yeah.
Like getting there if you have no ethics is super simple. So a lot of people do that, and then like that's where their bad rep I think comes in. But exactly what you said. Any successful entrepreneur that has made over like 50, 100K, like it's guaranteed. He says coaching would have helped me because it's not like a question.
Yeah.
It's like working with someone who's done what you want to do will help you get that quicker. So as long as you're not paying friggin' $1 million for coaching, you should be good.
Yeah. So like, what's the initial roadmap you think should? Like, let's say there's a beginner watching this video. They've never started a business. They've never had coaching, anything. And let's say they wanna start dropshipping. Where do you think they should do?
Start.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to keep it as simple as possible. I think with dropshipping, I've also talked with, I have friends that are doing a few million a month dropshipping. Like the biggest thing right now, especially is ad creatives. That's what's going to set you apart, especially if you're trying to start with running like direct marketing and ads. if you're trying to do organic, like good luck, it's just more difficult. But as long as you're running a paid ad funnel, it's like, it's as simple as just people will see your video, go to your site, buy, and then fulfillment simple. Yeah. The biggest thing to focus on is ads, like fulfillment. I even have students, they're like, bro, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. It's the cheapest way to fulfill. I'm like, bro, fuck all that. Like, just do something simple. That's why I advocate for like Zendrop. It's just simple. You set it up, done. And the biggest thing you got to realize is acquiring customers is the only hard part. Yeah. And then when people are like, oh, that's too difficult, then it's like, okay, it's either the product's fault or the ad creative or the site. So for me, I think I would just start and do. Zuckerberg, he says, and I really liked it. He's like, you're never going to have the plan fully figured out. You just have to start and the plan will make itself. Yeah. And I really like that. Yeah. So that's also my thing. Like I really just focus on my inputs. You can't think forever. You got to just start doing. And it's not hard. There's a lot of I've met some dumb motherfuckers that have crushed dropshipping, myself included. When I was 17. I did $1 million. I was fucking stupid.
That's crazy. Because like a big reason why it's hard to like, because a lot of people, they ask me and they ask the rest of the Zendrop team is just saying, who should I watch? Who should I listen to for dropshipping? Yeah. And it's hard to give that recommendation because there's so many people who are ruining the space. Yeah. Like I know, I don't want to drop names, but people who don't fulfill orders, people who do scams, people who just don't do anything on their courses. And it's just tough to like direct them somewhere, you know? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, I think people need to like think less and do more, especially with starting dropshipping. It isn't too hard. Most of the guys I know in coaching, I think the biggest thing is someone who can help someone do it or can't. Yeah. That's the biggest thing I care about. Even with like, the agency space. I coach some people into the agency space. My mentorship, like, I'll help anyone. I have this Asian girl, she's probably worth $30 million. Damn. She's getting coached from me literally just to talk about how to do these like smaller scale businesses and how she can get into the coaching world. Yeah. So I'll help people with anything, but my whole thing is like, can the person fulfill the desired output that the customer wants? Yeah. So if a customer wants to start drop shipping like and get a sale, I look at beginners like you start doing is the first step. Getting a break even or negative sales the second step, and then a profitable sales the third step. Once you're profitable sales, like at that point you could fly pretty easily. Yeah. It's so not hard. There's so many guys that have done it. It's like, I think Shopify is probably the lowest barrier of entry skill pretty much out there on a business sense. So I think just do.
Yeah, exactly. And like kind of touching into that, you kind of already answered it, but do you think like beginners can still dropship in 2024? Yeah. I think completely. I think it's totally still a big market. But like I said, with all the different courses and people who are bashing on it, a lot of people
do shit on it. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why people shit on it so hard. But yeah, I think it's definitely viable. The only thing I'd say is as time progresses, I think every business, every part of life will get more difficult. Yeah. 30 years ago, like the idea of getting into business was easier than now on like a fundamental basis of every business almost. If you look at it as who is doing it. Yeah. Just as time progresses, every business that works will get more competitive because more people will try to do it, and you have to evolve. Yeah.
And you were saying that, like obviously marketing is the best, or the offer is the most important thing you need to focus on. Everything. Like from a scaling standpoint, if you had a business that you were trying to scale up, and let's just say dropshipping. If you had a dropshipping store, you want to scale it, where would you take it? Do you like offload work, do it yourself? Like, you already got to the positive sales standpoint. Now what?
So it's funny. I built a phase around this like 7 months ago, like the how-to of scaling. And I think like when someone thinks scaling, you think like bring a product from like 10K to $1 million and do it with the least friction possible. For me, I think the only bottlenecks when you scale is really like customer support. Media buying gets annoying with like clicking. I hate, like once I had more than $500,000 in my bank account, I didn't have this number in my head prior, but I think once you have $500,000 in your bank account, you shouldn't be doing busy work like clicking buttons and shit. So I hired on like a full-time media buyer a year and a half ago. I trained her from the ground up. She'll run all my accounts. So I think hiring someone to do button clicking, even as simple as a friend, that can just adjust budgets, monitor like KPIs day to day and returns. Customer support's the hardest probably. So I'd say media buyer, customer support. Those are like the only two real bottlenecks you'll probably run into. A really good way to churn out ads. You don't need to hire it, but all that matters is you have the output of like at least I think between like 10 and 30 creatives a month, especially if you're scaling. It's just going to make your life easier and you'll get lower CPMs and higher CTRs. I think those three things: good customer support, someone to help you launch and manage ads, and then really good ad creatives being made, ideally from a company that just crushes for you, $50, $100 a creative. And then it's game over.
Yeah, because like a statistic that I was looking at is like there's a huge percentage of like drop shipping and e-commerce businesses that fail after the scaling phase. So like they can get profitable, but then once they go into scaling, then it tanks because people don't properly know how
That's
to
super
scale
interesting.
it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I thought that was really funny, and just see if you had any sauce to drop for scaling specific.
I feel like it's creatives. I feel like people get too stuck on one creative. One of the biggest things I teach is the second something works, not to stop it, of course, but to dissect the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Because like if you do something with minimal effort and it works, that's like a huge like red alarm of like, holy shit, there's probably something here, but you don't even know what it is yet. Especially when someone tests a creative. Like I always tell people to test 3 to 5 creatives on first launches with ads. And when someone tests creatives and one of them rips, like the first thought they always have is, oh, scale spend. Let's scale.
Yeah.
First thing I say is like get 5 more ads exactly like that, changing like 1 to 2 variables per video. And I think that's probably the biggest reason that statistic exists. It kind of blew my mind what you said. I feel like people just have, again, a low barrier of what is hard, and then they go and do like barely any work and expect to just make $1 million.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a big point of like, especially with organic, like how popular it is with people just doing TikTok shop, etc. Some people, they can get like a banger video, get a bunch of sales, or like have a lucky ad creative that starts printing, but then they just don't know how to scale it from there.
Dude,
just get
so true. Yeah. I have this guy, I'm not going to dox his product, guy in my program, because I'll probably take on and train like, I don't know, maybe 2 dozen people a month, new people in ecom, helping them start and scale. Dude, so this guy's, he's going through ecom, my program. He, first product test, him and his buddy, 150 grand in 3 days on organic. Damn. So, and yeah, I was selling like, I'll say that it was like AOV was like 120. It was like $100 product. All organic TikTok, like 800K views. And he did like 50K, 40K, and like 65K, 3 days. And it was like nuts to me. Because my personal thing, whenever anyone mentions organic, is like, yo, that's hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Running organic and drop shipping, in my eyes, is like playing water polo. You got to be really good at swimming and really good at like throwing the fucking ball. I'd rather just learn the swimming or just learn the throwing part, which is why I like paid ads way more. I think it's easier, but to each their own.
Yeah, see, that's like kind of where I got my first like big break in dropshipping was through organic.
Really?
Like, when YouTube Shorts first started popping like a while ago,
gosh.
I started just testing through that, and then I had it was like in the airsoft niche, but random channel, got over to 1 million subscribers, and then did like 2 mil revenue, no ad spend.
Fuck, bro.
But it was like an 8x margin.
Net was insane for like 60, 70%.
Bro, yeah, it was like $1 buy cost, 15 sell cost.
Oh my
crazy.
God, dude.
So that was like
that one thing I know about it. Whenever anyone says they ripped with organic, like I know the margins there are insane.
Yeah.
For me, like, you know, I got that, the brand I was telling you about, like, this is like my biggest break, at least in ecom. We're like, we'll probably hit 2 mil probably by the end of the year. For us, it was all paid. So like average ROAS over the course of the whole brand was probably like 3.0. So 33% of my friggin' top line was just ads, which sucks.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then like, what's your stake going to be when you sell that?
So ideally, I'm trying to sell it right now between like 250 to like 600. I don't think it's like worth that much. I think it's probably worth like 300 or 400.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sell the whole thing, and I think people value that. They'll still have me to help them. That's my whole life right now, bros. I'm trying to get involved in businesses at like 100K to $1 million a year profit, and then help them scale.
Okay.
Because I think that's really going to get me from like average like internet kid, he doesn't actually have money, to like once I can show I exited a business and that was sold for like 70 million. I had like 10%. It's like, you know, it's real. Yeah. So that's my thing right now, bro. I'm really gunning right now to ideally 10 million net worth.
Yeah.
Ideally liquid, around there as well. I don't want too much of it. I'm not into the heebie-jeebie like net worth tied to like assets. I like it more in cash.
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on crypto and stocks? Dude,
fucking roller coaster, bro. It's the first thing that comes to my mind. I think the last 3 years I've really gained some maturity pertaining to investing. Yeah. And I'll be the first to say, dude, I had my fuck ups with it for sure. I think I still know so little about it, which very few people admit for some reason. Then again, you know, I could say myself the same with being naive with business, but there's just so much to life I'm still learning. With investing specifically, I'm like pretty just like sketched about it. It's just such a roller coaster. I have like a very small portion of like my current cash inside of specifically crypto. Yeah. I'm not betting on it. It's the best way I can explain it. Yeah. I think earlier stages of my life, I'd put so much cash in it to where I was almost betting on it. Yeah. Now it's like kind of the opposite. I'm going to wait till I ideally have like between 5 and 10 million liquid before I really go hard on the markets. Ideally in real estate. I'm way more interested in real estate as it's like direct cash returns. And I think it's way more solidified. I think if we would have seen 4 more years of like a bad president, like things could have gotten really bad in stocks and stuff. And I'm not fucking betting my shit on that.
Yeah, so like what's the future gonna look like for you? Like what are your next move for the next like 3 to 5 years? Where do you see yourself like,
Man,
to?
I think on a long enough time horizon, every person who should win wins.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really just making sure my day-to-day inputs are really there.
Mm-hmm.
So I know over time I'm going to get what I want. But when it comes to the actual output I'm looking for, it really is just expanding my net worth, mainly with these businesses growing and scaling. I really do enjoy the coaching side.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go more quality, less quantity, and take on more people to mentor, train, grow the socials, have fun in the process, feel good. Ideally 10 to 20 million net worth. I'd be pretty grateful with that. 3 to 5 years time. And let's see what happens.
Yeah. Do you see yourself going like more minimalistic than you are already?
Yeah.
Like getting out of Miami?
Bro, I've had like my intuition tells me to leave Miami. It really does. And I probably should follow it.
Yeah.
It's just so hard, dude. The women, it's just so fun here. Yeah, I think I will. I'll definitely be out of here, I think, within the next few years. 100% once I have a family.
Yeah.
But for right now, it's really great for networking, social media, and everything. I have a great apartment. I told you, although it's I pay like 15, 16 a month. The actual it's 2 apartments. They knocked down the apartment above me and they made it 1.
Sick.
So yeah, the owners are like traveling. I'm chilling right now, but my gut tells me to get out.
Yeah.
You know.
It's probably a better decision. You probably get somewhere way crazier.
Bro, exactly. I mean, dude. I've looked into Scottsdale. I've looked into like not New York, but a bit outside of New York. Looking at New York, like New Jersey area. I don't know. The biggest thing, I love driving. I have like 2 cars. I like my cars a lot. And I really don't want to sacrifice that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know, maybe Vegas. I like Vegas. Good real estate prices there.
Yeah, that's what I love about Texas. You have the big open roads. I just rip down
them all the time. Are the cops sketchy over there?
No, bro. The cops don't care in Texas. Bro.
That's what I need. Buddy, I gave him my yours for the week. He's fucking got yanked in South Beach. What did they say?
Yeah, I was revving the exhaust. All
Yeah.
the people were filming and shit, and then a cop pulls up next to
The car's too loud.
All the people go, oh. And he basically goes out the rev.
Yeah, the car's too loud. People love I brought like downpipes on it and exhaust. The yours is fucking crazy.
I love that. You have the Yaris and the 720, right?
Yeah, I have a Model 3. It's back like where I grew up. I don't drive it much.
Yeah, I just have the Model S right now. That's
Dude, the Teslas are. I literally tell people all the time, like money to value, best car, like hands down. I think the Roadster is going to be the best car on the planet.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get that like ASAP.
Yeah.
As long as there's no Cybertruck and
That's
like hype on that.
Yeah, you have my dream car, bro. I want the 720.
720,
I need that, bro.
dude. It fucking breaks, dude. I like it, but it breaks. It's broken 4 times on me in 8 months. Yeah, I'm about to get rid of it. I'm either gonna go to a SVJ or a SF90.
SVJ would be crazy. Yeah, you gotta let me see it before you get rid of it.
Yeah, no, we'll run something. You're here for a bit. We'll definitely do something.
Let's do it. But yeah, last thing I want to ask you, do you have any like stories of like big L's you've taken in business?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like what do you think's the biggest like learning point for you?
I'll give you 3.
Okay.
And then you could choose the best one. If people want to know the other ones, they could check out my channels. Either sued by Apple or cease and desist by Apple at 17. Super depressed at 18 alone on my birthday, or biggest brand ever having payment processor shut down.
I think Apple would be the most interesting.
Yeah, people love that one. 17, I told you. First thing I did out of school, I'm not going to lie. Like I was a little I wasn't a grifter. I think it was ethical. It was moral. It just wasn't legal.
Yeah.
I think those are the 3 keys of business. Ask yourself, is it legal, ethical, and moral? It always needs to follow those 3 things. Take it from me. I learned that from a really good mentor of mine around a year ago. Moral of the story was I'm 16, leaving school. I knew I had to figure something out, and all I had tried at this point was pretty much flipping and reselling shit, Supreme sneakers and like phone cases and hoverboards and golf carts over the last 5 years. I had probably 10, 15 grand leaving high school in 10th grade, and I worked for my brother for a few months, and then I stumbled upon these like fake AirPods. I called them earpods, red, green, white, and pink.
Yeah.
So 4 colors. They were like these. It was called like IS5s, blue box. Long story short, fake AirPods. Sold a lot of them, bro. I sold them for 40. Meta ads. I didn't even fucking understand how pixels worked. I had no pixel. I only realized this like a year and a half ago, looking back, because I realized I didn't have a CPA. Like on Facebook, I had no CPA. It didn't say any of that. Bro, I ran promote a post ads So
Oh.
on my profile, if you know ads, like if you run if someone says they're running a promote a post ad, instant like fucking retard. But this is so early. This is 2018.
Yeah.
It's such a banger. This is what we were talking about earlier. Like the product was so good. Marketing didn't matter. Bro, I was getting a 10-cent cost per click, like a 1-2% conversion rate. And I mean, the math just math. I was spending, I remember vividly, I knew for every $10 I spent, I'd get a sale. So 10 to 40, and that ROAS was good enough to scale. I scaled it and did like 400K on one site, shut down, no issues with legal yet. Second site, another like 500-600K. Felt great. Probably profited like 110, 120 grand. Spent a good amount of it. I bought a BMW.
Yeah.
I initially, right when it started, I got a Beamer. A year after about, I got a Tesla.
Yeah.
So like the beginning and end of it, I bought cars. I got a Rolex in between, my first Rolex at 17. And it was done. My sites were getting shut down so bad. I literally could not get approved processing wise. I burned my identity and my mom's identity. And at that point, my mom's identity initially, and then right when I turned 18, I burned my identity like within 4 months. I was blacklisted off like every high-risk processor. Yeah, because the issue was I also didn't understand customer support, and chargebacks were like 2.5%, 3%. They hated me. 100K on reserves I never got back also, which sucked. But the funnier part was at the end of it, it's done. I'm chilling, kind of living my life. I was a little lost and depressed the year after that, trying to figure out what to do next. And random morning, letter on my doorstep, like 10. It was, I just remember it was thick papers, and an older guy, where's your, I'm not going to say my mom's name, but my mom's name, is she here? No. Gives it to me. I'm just about 18 now, but when it happened, I was 17.
Yeah.
Thank God they were going at the store that was my name when I was 17. I told them, I said I was 17 when I did it all. Please leave me alone. On the phone with them, they made me show all my numbers, export CSV sheets, and they pretty much just, I was small enough minnow, they let me be, and they just made me like permanently delete both sites.
That's crazy. Bro, so if you made more money, you think they would have made you like pay that back? Or, like,
Yeah,
losses?
dude. They went after a good amount of people.
Yeah.
I think the benchmark was probably like 5 million plus top line. If you'd have done 5 million or more, so, I mean, all I know is the legal company they hired was huge, like 15 offices across the states. I don't remember the name, to be frank. I would dox it. I didn't give a fuck. But I just remember it was a huge legal company, and they were paying, Apple was paying them a bounty for every one they shut down. And that was their relationship. And bro, when Apple hires a legal company, like that legal company is friggin', they're running shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, sketchy.
That's crazy.
But good lesson that I took early on, and take it from me to not fucking get that legal, ethical, moral. It must always hit.
So yeah, that's a big thing. But that's pretty much all the things I want to go over.
Fuck
if you
yeah,
had
dude.
any final points or tips you wanted to give to the viewers.
Nothing really, man. I fucking love Zendrop. Shout out to Zendrop team. It's sick what you're helping them do, bro. And that they found you. I think the only thing I'll say is I really wish and hope that all of you guys look at what you're doing day to day and construct your life to make sure those inputs guarantee the outputs that you want. That's what I do. It's what I'd recommend. But that's all I got, dude. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on, brother.
100%.